long time. Again, he's gone. So that's another reason why they're changing the style of offense to more running.
Slovis avoids the rush, gets it out to his receiver. That's Kai Wright. Tight end makes his first catch of the year. Just a gain of about 2 yards. We'll bring up 3rd down and 5.
Yeah, and this is going to be the complement, right? Off of the run game, they're going to try to get play action shots downfield. And, you know, a lot of times they're going to only have 1 or 2 receivers running those routes downfield. And now on 3rd down, they get more in the spread package.
Moves Slovis out.
Right, Slovis is out, though.
Direct snap to Hammond. He's going to try and pick his way for that 5 yards, and he does it. Picks up the 1st down.
But there you go, and that's why they do it, right? You know, they move Slovis out, they direct snap, and do this a lot. Whether it's Izzy Abanikanda, Rodney Hammond, they feel like their offensive line can manhandle the much smaller defensive front of Syracuse. Good pickup on 3rd down, and, you know, probably in 4-down territory anyways at that point.
Back under center, Slovis. Hammond in the backfield. Hammond again. Gets into the linebackers, and Marlowe Wax brings him down, but it's a 5-yard gain on 1st down. If you're just joining us, Izzy Abanikanda, the All-American candidate tailback for Pitt, ruled out for this game, an upper body injury that he suffered late in last week's loss to North Carolina. So Abanikanda, he warmed up in pads today, but not going to give it a go. So we're going to see a lot of Rodney Hammond, who was injured himself early in the year and is just now getting back to 100%.
You see a lot of Rodney Hammond this game, a lot of running the football out of Pitt.
Hammond sidestepping his way into the hole. Gain of 4, it'll bring up 3rd down and a yard. Hammond, let's not forget, Mark, at the beginning of the year, it was still tailback by committee for Narduzzi and Pitt. I mean, Rodney Hammond got more carries in the opening win against West Virginia than Izzy Abanikanda did, and he made a great game of it. He had 129 total yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he did it through on the ground, through the air, and, you know, really when he got hurt that game, missed the next 5 weeks, that's when Izzy came into his own, and we all know what he did after that. But you know, he's a very capable back, and coaches are super high on him, only a sophomore.
Running back Bartholomew in motion. Sticking with Hammond on the ground. Another 1st down. They'll continue to move the chains. Jihad Carter on the tackle from the strong safety spot. This is idyllic for Pitt.
Yeah, and you know, if you're a Syracuse fan, this is way too similar to what you saw in the last game versus Notre Dame. You know, Notre Dame gotten big personnel, 2-3 tight ends on the field, and I mean, they just ran the ball over and over and over again against Syracuse, and
241 yards.
Yeah, and a lot of that was in the 1st half as well.
Tight end again in motion. That's Bartholomew. Again, we give to Hammond. Got popped after a gain of 3. Justin Barron on the tackle.
And this is, you know, we mentioned the size differential. You know, just to put in perspective, the smallest offensive lineman for Pittsburgh is 305 pounds. The largest defensive lineman for Syracuse is 265. So, I mean, there is at least a 30-pound difference across the board. And, you know, it forces Syracuse to slash more, to slant more, to send more pressures, to get more guys involved in the run. And as they continue that, that's when it opens up some of the deeper shots, sucking the safeties up closer to the line of scrimmage.
Kel Jones on the tackle. Joined by Jatias Gear, and you can see the numbers. The last couple of games, the 2 losses.
Yeah, and really it was those last 2 losses for them that were against the bigger offensive lines, right? Versus Clemson and Notre Dame, the more run-heavy teams. And so set a blueprint out for what works to beat Syracuse, and Pittsburgh's following that blueprint.
Play action fake. Now the pressure comes. Slovis gets rid of it, puts a floater into the end zone to heavy traffic, and it's going to be intercepted. Jihad Carter picks it off, and just like that, that Pitt drive stalls, and the crowd here already getting on this offense. They move the ball into the red zone. Jason Simmons applied the pressure, and Slovis with a bad decision, Mark.
Yeah, bad decision, and this is what it is, right? How hard it is for an offensive coordinator to just continue to run the football. You change it up, you throw the football in the air, and Jihad Carter has his 3rd interception in as many weeks. He has been on fire. Huge play to get Orange football back.
Under Friday Night Lights in his home.
And we're seeing that Garrett Schrader is actually in street clothes. We told you earlier that it was questionable for him to play, but we are now seeing that he will not play today as he is again in street clothes, and he's nursing a lower body injury that he had from the Clemson game.
I appreciate that, Larisha.
He's pass complete to 34.
Sean Tucker out of the backfield. We'll see a lot of that today, as North Carolina had a lot of success with that play last week against Pitt.
Yeah, and it's funny. We get a chance to meet with both coaches before the game, and you asked Dino Babers, you're like, are we going to see a lot of that running back out of the backfield? He's like, well, I'm sure that Pat Narduzzi and that defense worked that a lot. And first time they went to it, nice gain. So you're right. I think that's probably the one area of communication lapse that I've seen consistently with Pitt's defense is that combination when you get the 2nd and 3rd wide receiver exchanging positions, the pass off between the nickelback and the linebacker, or safety and linebacker. So expect to see a lot of that.
3rd down and 2. Syracuse 3 and out in their first offensive possession, trying to avoid that for a 2nd time this afternoon. Del Rio Wilson, the handoff. Tucker, look at him bounce it outside, just enough to pick up the 1st down. Tracked down by Brandon Hill, but not until they move the chains.
Hill on the tackle.
Tyler Wiltz, number 10, was right there to make the tackle. But watch this burst. You see the speed to get away from that initial tackle and pick up the yardage. So good at making things happen when not a lot's there.
Against Syracuse.
False start. Offense. Number 63. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Chris Bleich.
That's the 2nd on him.
Just that little
twitchy. When you're that big, a little twitch is noticeable.
Big twitch.
Like the pattern on Davis' shirt there.
Busy. Del Rio Wilson to throw. Look at that cannon as he hits his receiver outside the 40-yard line. Damian Alford, Canadian out of Montreal with the catch. Just his 8th catch of the year. It'll move the chains.
And Damian Alford, he's a player. He had a spectacular catch last week and an almost spectacular catch the week before, tiptoeing on the sidelines. He's a guy that if he can emerge at 6'6", 210 pounds, that's going to be a threat that Del Rio Wilson would love to go to.
Keeper again in motion. Top of your screen, Del Rio Wilson now changing the play. Tucker moving out of the backfield. Del Rio Wilson near side. Way overshoots his intended receiver. Ronde Gadsden. Now flag comes in. MJ Devonshire is like, what are you talking about? Well, they got him for pass interference.
That replay doesn't show anything, so. Yeah. But either way, I mean, Ronde Gadsden, number 19, that, it's the first time they've gone his direction, but he is by far their leading pass catcher. He's listed as a tight end, but he doesn't usually line up in that normal tight end position. Right now he's in the slot at the top of your feet.
I mean, he's not 6'10", he's 5'10".
No, and Sean Tucker, he knew it was high. He had little alligator arms, right? Elijah Cansey was in there in the middle, dropping in that little hole. Yeah, that could have been a big hit, too. So a little bit of self-preservation, but you're right.
Right, the ribs.
Yeah, you're like, no.
Brings up 2nd down and 10. Tucker with the give in the middle. About 5 yards.
Again, that's Sean Tucker, the ball carrier. Ken Wilson on the tackle.
Coming up at 8 Eastern, We're going to cap off our day with our ACC Network primetime matchup. Number 21 Wake Forest against number 22 NC State. Also check out that game, as all of our games, on the ESPN app, so you can watch it anywhere you go. 3rd down and 6.
Well, Pitt brought pressure on that last 3rd and long. They look like they're sitting back more. Watch number 7, Servassier Dennis. He is their big pass rush linebacker.
Tight window, hits his receiver. Nice catch by Trevor Pena, and he hung on after a big hit. Down a little bit. 12 yards on the pitch and catch. Pena did a nice job as MJ Devonshire was there to go with the boom.
But good timing route. Good pass, right on target. Go right there. And you mentioned Servassier Dennis, he's a freshman quarterback, but he's definitely their rangiest linebacker, also the leader of that defense.
Tucker, flag down, picks his way for about 5. Let's check the marker.
Flag on the play.
Offside. Defense, number 5. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Deslin Alexander in the neutral zone.
Yep. Trying to take all the ball, got to look inside a little bit.
1st and 5 for the Orange. Now it'll be 1st and 10. They give it right back. Wes Ho, guilty party.
False start. Offense, number 47. 5-yard penalty. First down.
3rd false start of the game, Mark, against Syracuse.
Yeah, it's not loud either. It's been the threat of pressure, right? You know, the defensive line, the linebackers are so quick and they come from so many different places. It's getting the Syracuse offensive line a little jittery.
Del Rio Wilson to throw. Steps up, he can run, and he shows his running ability on that play. Pocket broke down. He was able to scramble for a good gain. Servassier Dennis downfield brought him down. He's a big dude. I mean, he's 6'2", 232.
Yeah, big guy, and he's quick, right? He's quick and with his size. Good job just finding that hole. And another thing to just of note with the false starts, again, it's a different cadence from a different guy. You're used to Garrett Schrader barking out the signals all year, and now it's DRW doing it.
Tucker looked like he wanted to lead the way on an option, and that play had no chance from the start. Elijah Cansey just blew it up, and then we get a flag at the end of it.
Personal foul. Grabbing the face mask. Defense. The penalty is half the distance to the goal line. Automatic first down.
That was against Haba Baldonado, it looked.
Yeah, man, fortunate break for Syracuse. That play was dead in the water.
No chance. Get a reprieve on the personal foul, so now it's 1st and goal.
Yeah, watch for Rondé Gadsden in this area. He's 6 receiving touchdowns on the year. He's in the slot to the bottom. Well, Randy Bates, he's watched the same film that I've watched, right? He had 3 defenders surrounding Rondé Gadsden, and DRW, good job of just checking it down. Underneath.
DRW, I like that. That could be the rest of the game for me.
Yeah, it's too much to say everything.
You're right. 3 words on every play.
Yes, he gets a hashtag out of it.
Yep.
Branding opportunity.
2nd and goal. Tucker bangs into that line, stretching for the goal line. He's not going to get there. Solomon DeShields once again involved on the tackle and pulling him back from the precipice.
Syracuse has been good this year of winning the red zone, punching the ball in for a touchdown.
Pitch to Tucker. He's going to get bottled up. Loses 4 yards.
I mean, I was just about to get jacked up. I was like, look, they're under center. It's QB sneak time. Why do you pitch it backwards 5 yards to gain an inch? You know, it's a fast, experienced defense for Pitt, and really it's both teams gotten down to that red zone, and whether it was a turnover by Pitt or that miscue right there, need the opportunities to stay out of the end zone.
Andre Schmidt, the record-setting kicker for Syracuse, will put a leg into it and put it through. Well, the Orange only get 3 instead of 6, but they're 6-0 when scoring first this year, so Dino Babers can't be too unhappy. Late first quarter on Tucker, breakout on top first. They would have liked 6, but they got 3 just the same. Nice drive after going 3 and out in their first drive of the game and chewing some clock, as we've got a rapidly moving first quarter about ready to come to an end here in Pittsburgh. Vincent Davis and Rodney Hammond back to receive this kick from Brady Denneberg. It'll be Hammond from the goal line. Cuts it back inside. It's a nice return out to the 28. Hey, it's 6:30 following our game. The ACC Huddle crew. It's a full house today, too. Jordan Cornett, EJ Manuel, Eric McLean, Eddie Royal, and Mark Ricks back with highlights and analysis of all the early games, and they'll take you right up to the NC State Wake Forest game at 8 o'clock. They're live from Raleigh today, and at the rate we're going, we may hand it off to them before 6:30.
You're not kidding. I mean, true to schedule, both these teams like to run the football. Pitt, again, extra offensive lineman in, number 84.
Rodney Hammond, who had 28 yards on that first Pitt drive, spelled by Vincent Davis. Veteran Slovis as a receiver, that's Mumpfield. Can't shake the tackle, though. He picks up about 4. Jahad Carter, who made the interception on Pitt's first offensive drive, in on the tackle. That's going to do it for our first quarter here from Pittsburgh. Start of the second quarter here at Acrisure Stadium, formerly Heinz Field. Chris Cotter, Mark Hertzlick, Larisha Harris with you. Syracuse up 3-0. Good student section. They always have a good student section here at Pitt. They all come out, even though they don't have an on-campus stadium. It doesn't matter to them. They'll travel across the river. Hammond back in. Takes the handoff, big hole to run through, gets into the second level, and picks up a first down. Darian Chestnut is there on the tackle, but not before the 11.
Yeah, and really good job by the offensive line. Creates a separation right between the center, Jake Cradle, and Blake Zubovic, the guard. And Hammond, good vision. You need to have that good, like, one-cut outside zone running scheme, and he definitely has that. Now they bring the fullback in, 22 personnel.
Hammond dotting the I.
Don't say that a lot.
Fake to Hammond, so Slovis will throw. He has a receiver wide open, connects with Wayne, inside the 30, down to the 29.
The number 5, Jared Wayne.
24 yards.
And this is the compliment, right? They continuously give big people, and they say everything looks like run, and they'll have one guy do a route. Look at the top of the screen. Jared Wayne, he's the only one out on a route. And, you know, you think, okay, double team it, like what? But they have been so successful in these longer passes because they pick and choose when to do them. Great call by Frank Signetti, getting Jared Wayne involved in the passing game.
Again, the play fake to Hammond. All kinds of time for Slovis. Tight window, and that one may have been tipped. Bartholomew couldn't bring it in, his tight end. Let's see if Isaiah Johnson may have gotten a piece of it just before it got to him.
Yeah, he might have. He probably should have had an interception as well. Watch number 20, a little bit late on the read, throwing late over the middle. That should have been intercepted. Isaiah Johnson getting a start. Garrett Williams, their all-world cornerback, got hurt. He's out for the season, hurt last week. And so they're going to have to do cornerback by committee to replace Garrett Wilson.
Again, tight ends all over the place. Bartholomew in motion at the bottom of your screen. Stretch run to Hammond. Breaks from that first tackle. Jahad Carter brought him down. They'll bring up 3rd down and 5. A long 5. You mentioned Frank Signetti. Back here at Pitt for the 3rd time.
Yep.
As the offensive coordinator. Was at Boston College last couple of years.
And I was with him in New York when I was with the New York Giants. He was the quarterback's coach and coached Eli. He said, Keaton Slovis has a lot of kind of the same personality as Eli. Never too high, never too low. A lot of that quiet confidence and leadership.
Pressure here. He's going to need that confidence, and he gets it. Upfield. Stretches out to get the 1st down. Let's check and see if they give it to him. The officials look like they're spotting it beyond the chain.
I mean, that was a heads-up play.
1st down.
I'd say Mumfield. I mean, I've always thought, like, I never played wide receiver, but I always thought the hardest thing has got to be for a wide receiver or running back is like to know where that 1st down line is mid-process, right? And to understand, look, I got a little bit of room. He peeks over to the sideline, stretches the ball out. Great job.
Again, it's 6, Hammond.
Hammond is going to be a workhorse today.
Yeah. And, it's interesting. Talking to the coaches for Pittsburgh, they said, look, there shouldn't be that stark of a difference in terms of the carries from Abanikanda and Rodney Hammond. Because coming into the season, they figured, okay, we can split the workload a lot. But those 5 games that we mentioned Rodney Hammond missed led to a lot of the imbalance. Now Abanikanda out, it's going to be imbalanced the other way.
Hammond again. And Mikel Jones on that stretch. Wasn't able to pick up much, maybe a couple. It'll bring up 3rd down and 3.
Yeah, and this is a big deal, right? Big deal. Mikel Jones gets this tackle. He's working against the tight end, Bartholomew. And it was last week against Notre Dame that the linebackers and the outside linebackers for Syracuse had a tough time getting off Notre Dame's tight ends. That was really where that game was won. So that was a big play by Mikel Jones, getting that stop, bringing up 3rd down.
Slovis to the top of your screen. Hammond with Vincent Davis behind him. He's going to fake it to Davis, keep it, picks up the 1st down inside the 10, still on his feet, and driving down near the 5.
Well, there you go. Just because you're a pro-style offense doesn't mean you can't be creative. And it's a great play fake. Good job by Hammond. It looks like he did have a read there on the D end who crashed down. He pulled it. It's a very multiple offense that we're seeing right now, even though they do a lot of things out of those big personnels.
Big personnel again. The 11th play of this drive. Hammond. No Izzy Abanikanda today, but Rodney Hammond is doing his best Rodney Hammond impersonation.
And they kept the football on the ground when it counted, right? 3rd down, didn't get fancy, put it in the air, they ran it, and then get right back to the run. Fantastic job on that left side of the line of scrimmage. Marcus Minor and Matt Gonzalez creating that big running lane and just walked in the end zone.
Hammond with 2 touchdowns in the opener. Mark, you mentioned it, 5 games on the shelf. Played the last couple of them, not quite at 100%. Coaches felt like this was the week that he was nearest to being back to full strength, and boy, do they need him. With Izzy Abanikanda out, Rodney Hammond is making the most of every carry he's gotten and has gone. Another long drive for the Panthers. This time they seal it with a score, 7-3 Pitt.
Virginia Tech Jackets trailing with 3:30 left in the game until this freshman QB Zach Byron scores on the 9-yard keeper. First career start. He leads Tech to the 28-27 win over Virginia Tech.
Yeah, full schedule of games today in the ACC. We got North Carolina coming back to beat Virginia. Georgia Tech playing well against Virginia Tech. NC State, Wake Forest later on tonight. Kick sails out of the back of the end zone. Here we have Pitt and Syracuse, 2 teams that are Well, obviously, Mark, they're going to want to run the ball down your throats, both of them. Maybe a little more finesse with Syracuse in terms of using their backs out of the backfield, but so far for Pitt, it's just run right at you.
Yeah, and you're going to see two completely different styles of run, right? Pitt's going to jam everybody in the middle and try to run it behind the big guys. Syracuse is going to get everyone spread out and try to find running lanes that way. And I'm anticipating Robert and I to incorporate more of the run option with his quarterback, DRW, as this game progresses.
There is DRW now throwing the ball, has a receiver knocked out, incomplete. Now it's incomplete. A late word from the official.
Ruling
Devon
is an
Cooper was the
incomplete forward
intended
pass.
receiver.
Second down.
Tyler Wiltz on the coverage along with A.J. Woods.
And this is something we got to continue to watch, is the amount of drop passes that Syracuse has. I mean, it was a good defensive play, but when you bring the ball into your body, you got to protect it with two hands. On empty set again, could be a run.
Gonna throw. Has a tight end near the 30-yard line. That's Max Mang, the Berlin Bear. And he comes up holding his left knee.
I think he was just posing like a bear.
That's what he does after every catch.
Yeah.
He only has 4 on the year, so he hadn't had an opportunity to do it very often. Hope he's not injured. Hope he's all right.
Yeah. He did just leave the field, though. And now third down. Get Damian Alford in again at the slot, top of the screen.
Gadsden in motion. Tried to hit him high and incomplete. A lot of traffic. Servassier Dennis with the tip.
And trying to go to Gadsden.
He's a big guy, but even at 6'5", he couldn't climb the ladder to bring that one down.
No, and you know, it was a question that we had for the coaching staff. I think you asked it, right? Should we expect to see any drop in production from Gadsden with a new quarterback? And the coach said, yeah, that could be possible, right? Because the reason why Rondé Gadsden has gotten so many of the balls thrown to him is because he and Garrett Schrader have like a really good rapport. So it's different with a new guy in there throwing the football. Let's see if they can connect as this game goes along. Another punt.
Well, Von Marsberg got a nice bounce out of it, though, so it'll look a lot better in the stat sheet. Inside the 30, Pitt will take over. Panthers here at home, up 7-3 here, about midway through the second quarter. Day on Monday already. College basketball season is here. Slovis faked one way, goes the other way to Davis. Has blockers in front of him, picks up about 8.
I like that, mixing in the running back screen. You know, Vincent Davis, you know, we haven't talked about him that much, but he was really an every down back a few years ago, and 5'8", 180. He's also like their short yardage back. He's a powerful guy.
That's always the thing with him. You think about 5'8", 180, but he has such a strong lower body for a guy that size. He was always a very powerful back that belied his size. So he's in there again on this drive. We've seen Hammond, we've seen Vincent Davis. We won't be seeing Abanikanda today, but we may see Sebo Flemister, the transfer from Notre Dame. Give to Davis. He's right at the mark of the gain. I think he'll have it. It'll be a first down.
You got to talk defensive side of the football, too, because you know, right now, Tony White, defensive coordinator for Syracuse, he's got to do something to stop this run game. And they've just been continuing to pound it up the middle. And, you know, we talked to him. He said, I probably should have slanted a little bit more last week and get these guys moving, bring a little bit extra pressure. Let's see if that's the case on this series. They start slanting some of the defensive front.
Hammond. Picks up a couple.
Hammond.
Marlowe Wax has been involved a lot today on another tackle. Number 2 for the Syracuse Orange.
94,
Kayvon Garten, number 45, the nose tackle. He was in there as well. He's an interesting guy. He's a 5'11", 265-pound nose tackle. But, I mean, I watch him on film. Like this, he is so strong. He's like built for bench pressing, and he bench presses these centers back. Their heads just pop back at times. And Did a good job in that play, getting a stop.
It's a lot like Chris Elmore, nicknamed Rhino. Been injured on this Syracuse team. Similar kind of guys. Mumfield sidesteps a tackler, picks up about 5 yards before Jihad Carter makes the stop. You know, we talked about Rhino being one.
Linebacker number 2, and then Darren McDonald's the freshman filling in for Stephon Thompson.
Give to Davis. Spins his way to the next level. Picks up another first down and into Syracuse territory. Jatius Gear leading the charge for the Orange, but this is another slow, grinding drive on the ground for the Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, you watch here, you see the movement that the center and guard gets on 45. Kayvon Darton, who we were talking about, throw him out the bar. And that's, you know, that, again, Pitt does that anyways, right? You know, as I watch their film, especially Marcus Minor, Jake Cradle, that combination on that left side of the O-line, they are very good on their double teams. With the undersized defense, it's also very effective.
Fullback leading the way, play action. Slovis. Now the pocket breaks down. Pass too low for his intended receiver out of the backfield.
Slovis pass incomplete. Intended for 22 Davis.
And again, this is another one of those hard play actions. This time they had a couple more guys going out on the field. I want you to watch the tight end on the flat, on that wheel route. Right here, he gets dropped. But the pressure is good up front from Syracuse. And so sometimes when you're cheating a little bit on defense, saying, okay, you're going to cover the deep ball and the flat, pressure can make up for that. Good job by the front 7 getting to Slovis. Now you see Wayne again. The top of the field.
Getting the fake to Davis. Slovis in the middle. There's Wayne. Drops it. Jihad Carter on coverage, but Jared Wayne is going to be kicking himself for dropping that one.
Yeah, and gosh, man, you know, this is one where quarterback has to protect you a little too. Dig route. Yeah, I mean, you know, you got to catch that. But one of the things that happens when you don't have a lot of guys going the routes, you got a lot of these lurkers. And Jihad Carter, he has had a phenomenal 3-game series between Clemson, Notre Dame, and now today.
Third down.
Talk about the interceptions. The coaches have been really, really happy with how he's been playing as a sophomore.
3rd and 10. Orange try and get off the field. Slovis has all kinds of time. Checks down to his tight end Bartholomew. He's got work to do and won't get there.
26.
He's going to be about 2, maybe 3 yards shy. So here's the question: do you go for it as well as you had as much as you controlled the line of scrimmage?
Fumbled backwards out of bounds, 4th down.
Well, now they mark it about 5-6 yards shy because of the fumble.
Yeah, and I think, you know, if this is 4 yards, 3 yards, maybe you go for it. But, you know, at this point, I think you try to pin it back. And you see the punt safe team, the defense is staying on the field for Syracuse, anticipating any fake possibility.
Vanderhaar is going to punt for Pitt. Low driving kick. Bounds into the end zone for the touchback. Flag comes down as collision at the 10-yard line. Several flags between a Pitt and Syracuse player. Carter Johnson was one of the players, tight end, involved.
Yeah, it's interesting. Carter Johnson was on the punt team, and he was dragged. He ran a dude over, but a lot of times you get the holding call on the dude who gets run over. You know, because
referee Riley Johnson discussing it with his crew.
Yeah.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness.
Number 8. It's number 8.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Number 8 on the kicking team with targeting.
Wow.
Ooh.
That play is under further review.
We're going to review this for not only the personal foul, but with the targeting.
This is a rare call.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll see it in its completion when we come back, and we'll get the final call from the officials. 7-3, Pitt on top here in the second.
This week is.
Take a look at the call here, right side of your screen.
And you see right here, 87. he is the return man, but he does not signal for fair catch, so he can potentially be a blocker. They took the targeting call off. It's not a targeting. I can only imagine it's because it was too good of a hit. Ridiculous.
And meanwhile, downfield, Damian Alford, you sang his praises earlier in this game, Mark, involved in another long completion from Carlos Del Rio Wilson, 31 yards. Syracuse is back in business.
And he's become really the big play wow catch receiver. And how about, I mean, how
Look at that throw.
Like, I mean, that is unbelievable. And then using his size, right? Being able to use your 6'6" frame and go up over top. That was a great catch.
Tucker hasn't been able to get on track and is upended after picking up 4 yards from Brandon Hill. How about that throw from Carlos Del Rio Wilson? In the air, like a jump throw. That was 30 yards on the money.
Yeah, and that, you know, that's what they've seen in practice. You know, they've seen that arm strength. They see that ability. He transferred in from Florida, where he did not get a lot of playing time. Highly recruited guy.
Fake to Tucker. Over the middle. That ball may have gotten tipped at the line of scrimmage as he was trying to hit Aronde Gadsden. It'll bring up third down. Larisha, what do you got for us?
Well, you guys were talking about that throw that we just saw from Carlos Del Rio Wilson. Well, when I spoke with a lot of players, when they described him, they talked about confidence and swagger. And that right there, I think, is what they were talking about. And then also we heard players say the velocity at which the ball is thrown is the biggest difference with these quarterbacks, with Carlos Del Rio Wilson. And so I think we saw that, guys.
Yeah, definitely. That was a howitzer. And on target. Now on third down, he's back to throw, going to the end zone. Going up to get it was Alford, and again, or DeMarcus Adams, the intended receiver, just couldn't make the catch. Devonshire was on coverage.
And that ball could not have been thrown any better. Good pocket, good job stepping up, and watch where this ball is delivered. Yeah, well, a little bit outside. Couldn't really tell the angle.
Devonshire did a nice job of making that sideline.
Yeah,
Another defender.
Right. He squeezed it outside.
So Andre Schmidt from 48 yards, he has the range. Syracuse all-time leading scorer.
48
No problem.
field goal is good.
That's just another day at the office for Andre Schmidt. That 2018 Lou Groza Award winner. He's been around a long time, and he's kicked a lot of field goals. 7-6. Pitt closes the gap to 1. Syracuse gets a field goal from Andre Schmidt. Deficit is now just 1. We're at 3:44 left to go in the first half here from Pittsburgh. Coach Narduzzi's Panthers up by a point, trying to break a modest 2-game losing streak themselves. Falling at Louisville, at North Carolina. It's the first home game in about a month for them, given their off week too. So good to be back home here in Acrisure. Hammond, thought he called for the fair catch. He did.
Number 6 gave a fair catch signal. Ball we placed at the 25-yard line. First down.
Thank you, Riley Johnson. Coming up at 8 o'clock Eastern, our day is going to be capped off with our ACC Network primetime match. Get out. So maybe an opportunity for a twofer here, Mark, with just under 4 minutes left to play in this half, as you can see where Sam Hartman is relative to 2 Hall of Famers, Taj Boyd and Phillip Rivers, as he continues his great play for the Deeks, and we'll see him tonight. Hammond. As I mentioned, maybe a twofer because Pitt will get the ball to start the second half. So if they can get a sustained drive like we've seen all game long so far from then to end this first, they'll have an opportunity to tap some more on the second.
Yeah, you know, 3:30, usually that's like the length of a drive of a normal team in the ACC right now, but you know, Pitt's been having these 4 or 5 minute drives, so you know, when you do get down to that 2 minutes, they will probably start hurrying up, a little less huddle.
Hammond. Falls forward. Set up third down and 2. Syracuse is thinking the opposite of this, though. They're thinking if we can stop them here, they'll get the ball back. It's just big third down.
Yeah, but you also don't see Syracuse calling any timeouts here on 3rd and 1.
Brings up a third down and long.
Try to save some time because Pitt has shown that they can pick up 1 yard easily. And they're going, this is 23 personnel. Full goal line package in the game, fullback, 3 tight ends.
Pitt 5 of 7 on 3rd down today, and a lot of them have been short yardage variety, but the fumbled snap, ball still on the ground.
Fumble recovered by the Panthers.
Pitt recovered the fumble. Daniel Carter, who was in there a lot on short yardage situation, the fullback.
30-second timeout.
Was Keaton Slovis put the ball on the ground, and then he got it to
Game clock
Daniel
operator,
Carter,
let's
but
put
there was nothing Carter could do about it.
On the game clock.
It was,
thank you.
We talked about Kayvon Darton, number 45, 5'11", 266 pounds. Watch him blow the center back. He pancakes him. And when you are dealing with that as a center, you can't get a snap. I mean, he's knocking the center back into the quarterback, and the ball's on the ground. That is, I mean, he's not going to get credit for a tackle on that, but remember that. Kayvon Darton just affected that play monumentally and forced a punt.
To Trevor Pena, drops deep for the
Trevor Pena now is going to try and make the most of this opportunity. I thought Alford might have had a chance to block that punt. Pena from his 22. He won't get far, but picks up maybe 5 on the return. So with just over 2 minutes left to go, now it's Syracuse's turn to make something happen. And quarterback Carlos Del Rio Wilson, who's making his first career start today, in lieu of the injured Garrett Schrader.
What a series he had last timeout. Missed on that last throw on 3rd down, but had a couple of great passes. One to Alford, and
6 of 11 for 79 yards on the day. Cuse has 2 timeouts on the board. And an empty backfield with Tucker lined up in the slot.
Rondé Gatson on the hash to the near side.
Del Rio Wilson now looks his way, but he's got a lot of room to run if he chooses to. Instead, he throws as a receiver wide open and couldn't hit him.
Man.
That looked like Courtney Jackson.
Oh, such the right idea. Such the right idea, right? An inexperienced quarterback, you think, oh, he's going to pull down the run, obviously. Look, he keeps his eyes downfield. The safety comes up. See, 25 just loses his man, and that's Brandon Hill got lucky. He didn't get a penalty for that late hit, but just miss. Good thought, though.
Had Servassier giving chase. Now Pitt looks like they want to bring pressure. They back out of it, bring only 4. Now they bring Servassier. Del Rio Wilson is able to fall on it. That was Servassier again putting pressure on him. Looks like the ball just slipped out of Del Rio Wilson's hands.
Yeah, and watch number 7. You see him on the right side of your screen. He's like hovering. He's a spy. So in this type of defense, the spy, once it's obvious the quarterback's not running initially, can add blitz. Great job by Servassier Dennis getting that pressure. And now on 3rd down, you just can't have a turnover here.
Tucker bangs his way to about a 5-yard gain. Servassier again on the tackle, and this will be shy of the 1st down. So now does Pitt call timeout? Now they do.
30-second timeout, Pittsburgh, 2nd of the half.
So the Panthers will have 1 remaining, 1:12 left, as Syracuse will punt the ball now back to Pitt into a little bit of a wind coming in off the river and from the downtown direction. Not sure how much that'll affect the punting of Max von Marburg.
Yep, and just something to keep in mind, as this is kind of a situation where it could happen. Syracuse did have a punt block last week against Notre Dame, so this is a spot where Pitt could dial it up. Not a lot to lose in that situation. Just keep an eye on that. And
MJ Devonshire now back with his heels on his own 20. Max von Marburg, one of 6 foreign-born players on this Syracuse team from Australia. Line drive punt here. It's going to be an opportunity. Devonshire wrapped up at the 30. Nice job on special teams. Making the tackle was Anwar Sparrow.
I was walking behind him this way.
Love when you get punt replays, punt coverage replays. A lot of special teams in my time in the league. Good tackle there. Making a name for himself.
Out in space.
Yep.
Number 12 bringing down number 12. So here comes Keaton Slovis. A minute and 1 second left to go. 1 timeout on the board. This could be the first time all afternoon we've seen them move quickly because they have to.
Yep, 1 timeout. You got Wayne to the top of screen. He has got room to the sidelines for an out route.
Hughes brings just 4. Hammond on the screen. Nice job defensively. Coming up and making the tackle was Jeremiah Wilson.
Yeah, the true freshman out of Kissimmee, Florida. Fantastic job. Gives a cushion, but he triggers immediately. Good tackle.
Slovis, just 3 coming. That's Wayne, makes the catch inside of Syracuse territory.
2-minute drills, especially before half. Always need that one play, right? You need that one play to get you in scoring position, right? They're not in range yet, but now you can use that clock, use that timeout, work the sideline here.
Syracuse brings 4. Now Slovis is chased. He turns the corner, though, and is going to pick up positive yards before going out of bounds. Marlowe Wax applied the pressure, but smart play by Slovis to get what he can and get out of bounds.
Yep, good protection and good job using his speed, getting around the edge.
2nd down and 6. Slovis to throw. Again to Wayne, who makes the catch at the 25.
And that's...
Seems like the same route.
It is the same route. And, you know, it's playing a little zone coverage where you got a flat defender and a safety over top. That's the soft spot in that zone.
Slovis, pressure on the outside. Wayne inside now. Looking to get upfield, down to the 20. Clock at 10 inside. And now Pitt's going to have to use that 3rd and final timeout.
He's down inside the 20.
Timeout. Pittsburgh. 3rd and final timeout of this half.
Well, in the first quarter, Mark, Keaton Slovis threw an interception in the end zone. It's a different scenario here, but with 8 seconds, you would only have maybe 1 more play to go to the end zone. Do you force it, or do you bring the field goal unit on right now?
I think, I don't know, it really depends, right? If you do, I think he has time, right? He has time to do it. Frank Signetti, you know, he's a guy from the league. They do have time, but you tell him to throw out of the back of the end zone. Does look like right now that Slovis is coming to the sideline, and they're going to just settle for a field goal here.
Nice drive by Slovis, though, in this 2-minute offense. 3 for 3 for 46 yards.
Yeah, and how about Jared Wayne, right?
All 3 catches.
This is year 1 of Jared Wayne being the #1 guy, and he has responded well, especially on that drive.
Ben Sauls from 38 yards out. 9 of 12 on the year. Good snap, good hold. They'll blow this one dead before it goes through the uprights.
Syracuse jumped off sides, it looks like.
Wait the word from the official as Riley Johnson and his crew discuss matters. Clock operator didn't even bother running the clock. So still 8 seconds. Let's take another look. Oh, look like 84 jumped in the middle, Mark.
Could be.
So
Ball start.
Move back.
Offense, number 84. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's Ryan Jacoby, sometimes guard, sometimes tight end. Often wears number 84. Guilty of a little flinch, so Pitt will move back 5 yards. It's now a 43-yard attempt. Saul's 4 for 5 between 40 and 49 yards on the season. So he's accurate even from distance.
Oh, man.
Get movement again. I thought this was a quick moving first half, and it was until
Offside.
his final 8 seconds.
Defense.
So Dino wants a little bit of an explanation.
There's no foul. Timeout was called by Syracuse. Timeout.
Okay. All right, so Dino using the timeout to ice Sauls before his player jumped. Take another look. Dino trying to time it right. There it is. All right, so it'll still be a 43-yard attempt. Will Dino try and ice Sauls again? If I'm Coach Narduzzi, I ain't arguing with that dude.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
Our umpire today, Mark Wilson.
Tell you what.
Whatever Mark Wilson says.
That is Syracuse's
like,
second
okay.
timeout of this half.
I'm going to watch myself, too, because you know how I feel about where the umpires stand.
I know. In his case, you could, Mr. Wilson, you can stand wherever you want.
Yep. Dude could be on my flight going home from here. You never know.
So we'll reset. After Slovis drove Pitt down the field in the final minute and change. Fans hoping that Ben Sauls can make it all pay off here with this 43-yard kick. Snap is good, hold is good. Sauls puts a leg into it, and it's good. Pitt extends their lead to 4 with 5 seconds left in this first half. So we had 2 big injuries at the start of the game to talk about, Mark. No Abanikanda for Pitt and no Garrett Schrader for Syracuse. How do you think both these teams have managed without big superstars on the offensive side?
Well, you know, filling in for those two specifically, I think both teams have done pretty well. You know, Del Rio Wilson, I think he's done a good job at quarterback. They've been able to operate the offense in the same way that they would if Garrett Schrader was in. Not as much of a Rondé Gatson getting involved, but you've seen Damian Alford get involved a little bit more. And then on the other side, you know, for Pitt, you lose Abanikanda, that's a big deal, right? But Rodney Hammond has done a really good job. I mean, you talk about really good, 16 attempts for 76 yards in the first half. It's on the ground, pretty good job. And you know, not a lot of points scored by either team, but they've been able to move the ball
Number 33
pretty efficiently.
is wearing number 98. Number 33 is now number 98 for Syracuse.
Those 16 attempts, by the way, Mark, more than he's had in the game since the opener against West Virginia when he had such a big game because of injuries and whatnot all season long.
Yeah, and you know, he had his career high rushing is 100 yards. That was last year versus University of New Hampshire, and if he stays on this pace, he will pass that.
Sauls kicks off. Pena just lets it sail over his head with 5 seconds left. You got to imagine that Carlos Del Rio Wilson will take a knee, and both teams will head to their respective locker rooms. Carlos Del Rio Wilson went to the same high school as some great players. Trevor Lawrence.
Yep.
Ronnie Brown, the running back from Auburn.
Yep.
Cartersville High School in Georgia. Big football powerhouse there north of Atlanta. Clock hits 0-0. Dino makes the sprint. Pitt will receive the kick in the second half, so Another opportunity for Rodney Hammond to grind it out, and those big uns up front, as they've had success on the ground, and they'll look to 16 yards on 8 carries.
Yeah, and last year that was the lowest total of his entire season. You know, and don't know whether that will be the case today or not, but Pitt is obviously geared up, as most teams are when they face Syracuse, to stop him.
Denneberg, low kick that's going to bounce into the end zone for the touchback. Larisha Harris on the field. What'd you hear at halftime?
Well, Coach Babers told me that his guys on offense have to find a way to run the ball and throw it over the top accurately. That's the best option for them to get in the end zone. He said right now that's what's troubling them. He also said it's only 4 points. There's only a 4-point difference. So they need to just play their game, and whoever wants it the most, that's who's going to be successful in this game. Defensively, he said he's pleased with what he's seen from the production of his guys, but they can do a little better at containing that run game, the production of Hammond Jr.
Yeah, Hammond's been fantastic. Slovis to throw the ball to Wayne. This has been a great combination, too.
Slovis pass complete.
About 8 yards. Marlowe Wax, who's having a career day out there making the tackle on Wayne.
Yeah, you see here, I mean, the other thing, too, let's find where number 5 is. You know, leading receiver coming into today. His leading receiver today with 5 catches. Mumfield right behind him, but good job pursuing from inside out by Marlowe Wax. You mentioned 8 tackle already today.
Slovis under center to Hammond. Look at him drive his legs and drive the defender back. Isaiah Johnson back on his heels, and first down for the Panthers. Injured orange on the play. That looks like that might be Jatias Gear, number 54. Not involved in the tackle. He's behind the play here in the lower left. We'll take a quick break. We'll get you updated on Gear's condition when we come back. Pitt up 10-6 early second half. Jatias Gear was helped off the field. We'll show you that replay in a little bit here. First down, fresh set of downs for Pitt, and Rodney Hammond. He'll get the carry. Fall forward for just a gain of a yard or so. Let's take a look at that injury. If we can look at what happened to Gear. Right side of your screen coming in, Mark. 54 got rolled up on by his own man.
Yeah, you see right there at the end, that left ankle gets caught underneath. Hope it doesn't, too bad.
They are thin up front, too, man. They already have Dennis Jaquez, who's out for the year. Chase Simmons is out. So now without Gear, they're going to have Kevin Jobity playing a little bit. You just saw Caleb Okechukwu. He's the starter on the other end. Slovis will throw. He's got all kinds of time trying to get it to Hammond. Now Hammond finally shakes his defender, but he can't bring it in. Jobity put the pressure on him eventually, but boy, he had all kinds of time for a long time.
Yeah, and okay, I want you to watch. It's going to be hard to see initially. The defensive tackle, 45. Watch him read this screen. He goes out and covers Rodney Hammond towards the bottom of your screen here. I mean, that's your nose guard, Kayvon Darton, who got pressure, realized I'm not going to get to the quarterback, and he found a running back to cover. That is not a part of his job description, but another fantastic play by a player that used to be a walk-on until August.
Third down for Pitt. Delayed pressure from Syracuse. Slovis gets it to his receiver, but he's going to be shy of the marker to gain. Mumfield brought it in, but Jihad Carter made sure he didn't reach the sticks. And there you see Gear being, looks like he's going to be taken to the Syracuse locker room on the back end of the cart. That is not a good sign. We certainly hope he's all right and he'll be able to return at some point in time soon, but it doesn't look like it's going to be today.
Yeah, you mentioned, thin on the defensive line. They graduated 4 super seniors, kind of the 5th guy in transferred, and it is a whole group of new players on the defensive line for Syracuse.
Pena lets this Cam Guest punt bounce out of bounds just inside the 20, and that's where Syracuse will take. A million years they'd be 8-1 after watching what their defense did in that game, but they put it all together. Speaking of putting it together, this is what we're seeing from Del Rio Wilson. Finally hitting Aronde Gadsden.
I know, and gosh, a flag in the backfield though, so we got to see.
Oh, it's coming back. Holding against Syracuse.
And yeah, it's on Haba Baldonado. He drew the holding call.
Looks like Wes Ho, the tight end on him on the edge.
Yeah, we haven't called Haba Baldonado's name very much today, but you know, he's been fantastic in terms of rushing the passer.
Think about Pitt, Mark. In the last 3 years, they've been either first or second in the country in sacks. This year, they're 21st, and that just seems like it's way down, even though it's still a very respectable number.
Yeah.
Del Rio Wilson. Let's see the wheels here. Avoids one tackler and forced out of bounds by Deslin Alexander after a minimal pickup.
And you know, I think you're right. It just in terms of being a little bit surprising. I mean, it's hard to just replicate that over and over and over again, but yeah, they return everybody up front. You know, right across the board. Hal Baldonado, Devin Danielson. You know, the only person they lost was Keyshawn Camp from last year at defensive tackle.
And they have guys like Seven spying. Now he's coming. Gervasier Dennis, he backs off, but he makes the tackle.
And that's a sack, right? Talking about sacks. And there's a sack right there. You mentioned Gervasier Dennis. He leads the ACC in sacks by an off-the-ball linebacker. Gets another one there. It's his 6th sack. Maybe they give him a half a sack, I'm not sure. But either way, it brings up 3rd and 10. Down the bottom of your screen, that's Damian Alford. That's been the #1 guy.
Del Rio Wilson has pressure, but has enough time to let it fly deep. Almost picked off by Devonshire.
Marcus Adams was the closest wide receiver, and he immediately turned to the sideline and lifted his hands like, I don't know. Like, you know, just some obvious miscommunication. And good job by Pitt defensively. And in this low-scoring game, it's a field position game at this point, and Pitt is poised to get the ball right around midfield.
Von Marburg to kick from his own end zone. Devonshire standing by on his own 41. Then Marburg gets off a good kick. Devonshire calls for a fair catch at the 40, and he makes it. Larisha, what do you got for us?
Well, guys, I've covered Gervasier for a couple of years now, and so I know that he has an infectious personality and a positive attitude, always uplifting his teammates and stuff on and off the field. However, once he's inside of those lines, there's a switch that happens. And I asked him about, you know, how are you so good at going after the opposing quarterback? Like, where does that pressure come from? And he says his mentality moves to that of a villain. And he said it's somebody like Michael Myers, because no matter what you do to him, he will always come back. I'm never going away. That's what he told me, Chris.
And, you know, this game is extra special to him every single year, being from the Syracuse area. So Slovis quickly. Mumfield got blockers in front of him, including his big tight end inside the 40, down close to the 30. Marlowe Wax is all over the field. #2 for Syracuse had to make the touchdown-saving tackle, but 29 yards later, Pitt's on the move.
Yeah, great job. They do this a lot, but this is the first time we've seen it be really effective, where they got some bigger blockers on the outside. And you mentioned it, great hustle play by Marlowe Wax, who ended up limping off the field after that tackle. But a big play to get down in striking position for Pitt, getting away from that inside run for just a tad little bit. Double pass.
Going back to Hammond, that's going to be intercepted. Intercepted by Isaiah Johnson at his own 13.
Rolling on the field, the ball was intercepted. First down,
Mark, it just seems like things are going well for Pitt in their base offensive package, and when they try to get a little bit fancy, that's when they get into trouble.
You're right. I mean, that's the analysis of that play, is things are working well, right? You just threw a bubble screen, throw a smoke screen, meaning like fake the bubble screen and send someone deep, but having a wide receiver throw the ball 50 yards across the field to a short running back, you know, like not in the red zone. It's too cramped.
Ball up for grabs, just a little bit behind Alford. As Del Rio Wilson couldn't connect.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 95, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, they get a break as Devin Danielson roughed up Del Rio Wilson. Danielson wants to know what he did wrong. Let's take a look.
Yeah, let's see. You see 95 coming through right there. You get that left hand. You see the jolt of the helmet. I don't know where that left hand was. It could have been Davis, the lineman, hitting him.
The jolt might have come from his own player backing up into him, and it just looked like it was from the force of the hand. Either way, Syracuse gets a much-needed break. Need to get out from under the shadow of their own goalpost now, and a little bit of breathing room for Sean Tucker. Let's see if they can get him on track. Ever since that drive that Syracuse marched down and got all the way down to the 1-yard line in the first half, Mark, Tucker's been absent.
Yeah, and they almost have stopped going to him. He even gets involved in the pass game more, coming out of the backfield.
Now they got him in motion out of the backfield, trying to come this way to Gaston and defend it beautifully.
That was a great play by A.J. Woods. You know, A.J. Woods, when you look at defensive backs in the ACC and defensive backs who cause incompletions, meaning they have PBUs or pass breakups, he's towards the top of that list. Great job of being physical off the line of scrimmage and forcing that incompletion.
Now an empty backfield. Tucker split wide at the bottom of your screen. Del Rio Wilson with pressure up the middle. Escapes it initially, but not permanently. Deslin Alexander was there to drop him. Throwing Servassier Dennis, adding the pressure, forcing him from the pocket. And it looks like Pitt's going to force another punt from the Q.
Yeah, Servassier Dennis again comes on the little delayed blitz. Watch number 7. Starts up the middle. Good job on the twist game. And it just, you know, that middle pressure forces the escape. And again, you talk about the number of sacks that this defense has produced. The defensive ends understand, okay, if we're sending linebacker pressure up the middle, don't go crazy up the field. Retrace, get the quarterback, great play.
Then Marburg, that's another good kick. Devonshire back to his 15. Right at the sideline, stayed in bounds, and it's going to end up being a pretty good return. All the way up to the 35. He was really tiptoeing that boundary, but he stayed in. Pitt up 4, midpoint of this third quarter. Getting the ball back when we come back.
Welcome back. Syracuse cornerback Isaiah Johnson coming up big time for their defense with that interception. He stepped in for Garrett Williams to take the start today. And when I spoke with him, he said Garrett Williams has always been supportive and always believed in him. Williams has been the leader of this team, of the defense, and has been one to preach to always put your mindset as one of being a starter. He said that's the mentality he's pushed to everyone, and he says he's so happy to see that his teammates believe in him. Chris?
Yeah, thanks. Isaiah Johnson already has his degree as well. He's a graduate student, has his undergraduate degree from Dartmouth. He's a grad transfer, so Johnson's smart enough, clearly, to pick up the nuances of this defense.
And smart enough to stay at Dartmouth for long enough to get the degree.
Injury timeout.
That's a good call. Kayvon Darton, your new favorite player, is banged up a little bit for Syracuse.
Shoot.
As we're going to keep an eye on what's going on with Darton. Darden's just a JYD, isn't he? Just
Oh
junkyard dog in the middle of that defensive line. 5'11", 266. Redshirt sophomore from Fitchburg, Mass. Keep an eye on 45 here. Right there, maybe some friendly fire from Sparrow, his teammate.
Yeah.
As you see, Sibo Flemister, by the way, the transfer from Notre Dame, getting his first carry of the day for Pitt.
Yep.
Well, that's good. Darton's walking off.
Yep. And Darton, I mean, gosh, you know, no one expected him to be playing this well. You talk to the coaching staff, they're like, you know, he was the 4th guy last year. And he's the last guy in the room that you'll notice, but he's the first guy on film that you notice because he destroys centers. Love watching his film.
It's a nightmare. You're center and you got a zero technique guy like that. Every time you snap it, it's whiplash. Flemister. Big hole. Into the next level, first down.
And you can even see the difference in the running style right now. You know, watch the speed to the line of scrimmage. Once you're right there, the takeoff. Flemister's got a little bit of that juice. Smaller guy. Not necessarily smaller than any of the other backs, but because they're all kind of small, but he's a little lighter, leaner, maybe a little quickness to him.
Flemister had to cut it back. Oh, got blocked on the edge, too. Inside the 40. Stiff arms the defender for another first down.
And, well, he has got vision, that's for sure. Look at that. I mean, you get good pressure, your good penetration up front by Ukuchekwu, and then you just see the ability to cut back a little, you know, hop for no reason, but he'll take that out of his game as he gets a little older.
Flemister again. I mean, this is just grinding and gouging this Orange defense for 6 and 7 yards a pop now.
Because Kayvon Darton's not in.
Well, you know, they're without Darton.
He's back.
Gear.
He's back, thank
Darton
goodness.
came back in. They were without 2 starting defensive linemen for at least a couple of plays. And they don't have a whole lot of backups. They only dressed 6 at the start of the day, so. Darton's back in. There he is.
The 2-back set. Got the fullback in there. Daniel Carter, number 4.
Flemister. Johnson on the tackle. Only able to pick up a couple. Big third down here for this Syracuse defense. They got to get off the field.
Tackled by Anwar Sparrow coming off the back edge.
Injury timeout.
Another player down. This time it's a Pitt Panther.
Looks like Marcus Minor, the only one on the offensive front who's been healthy the whole season. You think about the offensive front for Pitt. I mean, they returned all 5 starters. They returned everybody. However, you know, Carter Warren had a season-ending injury, the left tackle. Marcus Minor was the left guard last year. Can't really tell what happened to him there, but you know, he's been at left guard all year. Jake Cradle, who was a guard, he moved to center because Owen Drexel got hurt. Gabe Hoy missed some time, so they have not had their first 5 in there for the entire season. Couldn't tell it from this game as they're getting tons of movement, but
Minor walking off. That's a good sign.
Yep.
He's not a small individual. 6'4", 325. All these upperclassmen experience on that offensive line. Matt Gonsalves might be the MVP. He can play both left tackle and right tackle depending on who's out.
Yeah,
there you see Gonsalves right there, 76.
Yep. And Zubovic, who was at right guard, moves over to left guard.
3rd down and 3. Flemister. Right at it. I think he got past it. Mikel Jones makes the stop, but not until he picked up the yard to gain. This is very typical of what we've seen all day long from Pitt. They just grind it out all the way down the field. Until now, though, they've made too many mistakes in the red zone. It's cost them points.
Yeah, it's, you know, a lot of these down blocks, you get that elongated line, elongated surface area with all these tight ends washing down and kicking out, finding the hole.
Flemister, now he bounced it outside and back inside. Quick feet. Give him 3 yards, maybe 4. Simmons coming up from the safety spot to make the tackle.
All right, Chris. We're right on that fringe red zone, that high red zone. This is the time where Pitt's going to screw it up.
No, they're not this time.
Throw a pick or have a wide receiver throw a pass. I mean, you know, and that's been the story of the game, because Pitt's offense has dominated, but this is a 4-point game because of these turnovers in scoring positions.
Slovis threw a pick in the end zone in the first half. And Jared Wayne on a wide receiver pass threw a pick in the last drive. Flemister this time bottled up. Okechukwu, Marlowe Wax involved in the tackle.
Marlowe Wax is having a day.
He's close to an all-time personal mark for himself in terms of tackles per game.
Just tied it. That's his 10th tackle.
10.
He had 10 tackles earlier this year. Good job. Seeing where the ball's going to cut, stepping up, filling it for no gain.
He's also making them all over the field.
Yes.
Downfield, in the backfield, everywhere.
Yeah. Dino Babers thinks he's going to be an NFL guy after next season.
3rd down and 7. Slovis will throw to the end zone. There's Wayne down to the 1. See, in that case, Slovis to Wayne is better than Wayne to a guy in an orange helmet.
Yeah.
That's the play you want.
Exactly. And look at Slovis. Good job of looking down low. He got his eyes low to bring the cornerback, Isaiah Johnson, down lower. It opened up the back behind 7 route, and a good job delivering. I mean, that's as much of Slovis using his eyes to dictate where the cornerback was as anything. Great play.
Sebo Flemister in the backfield. Did he get in? No signal yet. I don't think he made it. Well, linesman coming in. Martin in this 2nd down.
That was close. There's a mass of humanity towards the ground, and it kind of looked like he tried to crawl over top at the end. Let's see. I don't know whether that knee did touch down or not. Again, you know, touched him first, obviously, Kayvon Darton.
Now Slovis in the gun, flanked by Flemister. Give the Flemister again. This time he leaps over the end zone. First touchdown as a member of the Pitt Panthers. And he gets congratulations from his offensive line. Handshakes all around.
I mean, how about that? For Sebo Flemister, you know, transferred in from Notre Dame, 5th-year senior. And the depth of this backfield room, I mean, it's got to be so encouraging for Narduzzi. Your top guy's out, so then Rodney Hammond's in. That dude runs all over the place, and now Sebo Flemister comes in, your 3rd guy, and he was productive this whole drive.
You know, I did the spring game here last spring, and, you know, dominated that day. Daniel Carter. He's not even one of their tailbacks anymore. Now he's a fullback.
Yeah. He was their big back, and they went to him and said, look, we want to do more pro-style stuff. Could you be a fullback for us? He said, sure, man, I'll do whatever you want us to do. And they use him a lot.
That is a deep and talented running back room, now complemented by Sebo Flemister. His first touchdown here with the Pitt Panthers. All right, coming up at 8 o'clock Eastern tonight, the day is capped off with a really good one. Our ACC Network primetime matchup. It's number 21 Wake Forest, number 22 NC State. Not only on the ACC Network, but if you're out and about, check it out on the ESPN app. Showed the ACC standings a moment ago, Mark, and with a Syracuse loss today, Clemson would wrap up that division already.
Yeah, you know, they would kind of punch their ticket for that spot in the ACC championship game by winning the Atlantic. And, you know, again, last year they didn't play in that game. Still won 10 games, but they didn't play in that game, and Wake Forest represented, but You know, Clemson has been back to their dominant self this year.
Minute 49 left to go in this third quarter. Mark, I think we saw the writing on the wall in this game early on. The possessions were going to be few and far between.
Yeah.
Syracuse only had 7 possessions and 5 3-and-outs. I mean, this Pitt defense has been phenomenal at forcing that Syracuse offense off the field and putting their own offense back.
Yeah, and kind of surprised that Syracuse hasn't attacked more of the spots that Pitt was exposed in last week. You know, UNC had so much success getting the ball out, thrown out of the backfield to the running backs, you know, in the flats or even wide receivers motion out. Haven't seen a lot of that from Syracuse's offense. And we also haven't seen a lot of the QB run, right? Adding that extra running element where Tucker has been held to only 20 yards on 9 carries.
Del Rio Wilson to throw. Tucker was covered.
Incomplete.
Covered well, couldn't connect.
Well, and there you go right there.
By Bengali.
Yeah, that's Bengali Kamara, number 11. He's a linebacker, plays the star position for them. But, you know, his matchup was the running back, right? They lined up Sean Tucker outside of the pocket, covered by a linebacker. And you know, these linebackers, they were challenged last week, but they're proving this week that they are in the right spot, making the right plays. Good job there.
Del Rio Wilson to throw again. Pressure. Forcing him to run.
Del Rio
He's done a decent job when forced out of the pocket running the football. Problem is here we have another third down facing this orange offense, and they haven't been able to convert.
No, they haven't. You know, that play again, they tried to get Sean Tucker on a wheel route. He was well covered.
The last third down conversion was at the 7.5-minute mark of the first quarter.
Goodness gracious. This one's doable. Rondé Gatson has just not been getting going.
Tucker in motion. Fake to him. Sack. This crowd loves it. Elijah Cansey. All over the quarterback. Tyler Wiltz from his linebacker spot in there as well. And another third down where this Pitt defense is going to get off the field.
When they bring guys, they bring guys. And you see that, you know, good outside pressure by number 6, John Morgan. The good push inside by Elijah Cansey. And you see there Tyler Wiltz and a backup linebacker. But he's a guy who has speed, and he was covering Josh Downs on certain plays last week.
End over end kick. Devonshire's going to let it bounce. Fielded right there by a Syracuse special teamer. And Pitt with another possession from their own 32. All right, 6:30 following us. The ACC Huddle crew. And it's a full house back in studio. Jordan Cornett, EJ Manuel, Eric McLean, Eddie Royal, and the coach, Mark Riggs. Back with highlights and breakdowns of all the early games. Plus, they'll get you set for our ACC primetime matchup, NC State and Wake Forest. Then after that game, it's a full wrap-up post-game show back in studio the entire day in ACC football, and it's a big day today. Earlier, we had North Carolina, big second half to beat Virginia. Georgia Tech bouncing back, beating Virginia Tech. Last night, we're going to call it here. Looks like it's going to go against Pitt.
False start. Offense. Number 55. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Last night, Duke beat Boston College. Duke has had an impressive year this year.
Yeah, they have. Riley Leonard has been so good for them. And see the false start by Marcus Minor. Good to see him back on the field after walking off in the last series with an injury.
Good bounce back this year for teams that were at the bottom of the standings last year.
Yeah.
Syracuse going bowling. Duke's going bowling.
Yep.
Hammond.
Nice play from the backside.
McDonald on the run, making the stop. An outside linebacker spot. Derek McDonald. Mary School in Atlanta.
Coming off the right edge there. Good job of just squeezing off the tackle's hip. And good job.
That'll wrap it up for the third quarter. All-Star All-Star cheerleading squads from around the area. Enjoying a little Neil Diamond during the break. So we head to the continued to enjoy success. And Hammond is a big part of it. He gets the carry here and picks up a big chunk.
Number 6, Rodney Hammond.
Started the game by setting the tone, Hammond did, and it's just continued from there.
Yeah, and you know, it's really been the last 3 weeks. You know, this has been an issue for Syracuse, is how can we stop the run? And, you know, part of Tony White's defense, it's a 3-3-5 defense where you just naturally don't have a lot of big guys, but a lot of times it's predicated on huge guys as those front three, taking up 2 blocks. They don't have that size, and so you have to get a lot of linebackers in the mix, try to take blocks off, and just haven't been able to do that with all the double teams that Pitt's been thrown at.
Now a 3rd down and long. Slovis is being chased. He's going to get sacked. And a big loss. Caleb Okechukwu.
Slovis sacked on the play.
First tackle for loss in the game for Syracuse, and it's a big one because they'll get off the field. They're still in this game.
Yeah, they are. And the reason why Tony White's defense works is because a lot of teams in the ACC pass the ball, right? And this is the problem when you face a team like that when you're passing the football, because you don't have guys lined up where they are going to rush. They're going to slant, bring guys in all different places. Great job by Okechukwu getting to the quarterback and getting the ball back to his offense.
Snap is high.
92 against the
They could pick that. Syracuse could pick it up and try to run, and not a freebie.
Instead, they're just going to fall on it. It'll be marked by a Pitt player on special teams, and punter Cam Guess just got a little
guess not.
Yeah, guess not. At least he got it off. But great field position for Syracuse when we come back. ACC Fall Championships continue this weekend. Tomorrow, the men's soccer quarterfinals start at 2 o'clock Eastern. All matches are right here on the ACC Network, the ESPN app, and the home of ACC Championships. A lot of great sports in the fall, including this one we're watching right now. Syracuse has got to get something going offensively here. Start from the Pitt 27 after that punt. Tucker, nowhere to run.
Nice play.
Elijah Cansey in the backfield.
Elijah Cansey, we made a lot of Kayvon Darton, the undersized D-tackle on the other side of the ball, but Elijah Cansey, I mean, he's only 6 foot, 280. He does such a good job of using that kind of shorter stature to find leverage and get angles. Great job on that play. You see the wide look right now. See the same pressure with the middle.
Trying to go all for it. Had him open initially, now underneath, and a lot of hands, sea of hands, and Tyler Wiltz. You mentioned him in the last possession in coverage. Also back in coverage this time on Gadsden. Nothing doing.
Tyler Wiltz, he's been having a day. He and Bengali Kamara play that star position. Wiltz, great job of melting towards his coverage, getting a hand on it, and just like that, after great field position, Syracuse needs to convert on 3rd and 11.
Ball tips, incomplete. Mark, that front 7 for Pitt's having fun today.
Yeah, the men in the trenches for Pitt on both sides of the ball are dominating this football game right now. And you see where that ball gets tipped. Looks like it's number 5.
Yep, Deslin.
Deslin Alexander, the captain, 5th-year senior on this team. And like, that is a phenomenal stand by this Pitt defense, not giving up an inch after that punt mishap.
46-yard attempt from Schmidt. Just not enough. He got that up in the air, and it was on target, but it was slowly dying as it got to the crossbar and just failed to go over it.
Man.
That wing coming off the Three Rivers.
After 54-yarder last week.
Yeah.
Unable to put this one through.
Much to the chagrin of Dino.
Yeah.
17-6.
Fansville studio update. Elijah Green getting it done on the ground and through the air today. This 22-yard touchdown lifts UNC to the win over Virginia. Mark and Chris, back to you in the booth.
Yeah, Mac Brown's done a great job with that North Carolina squad. Disappointing year last year. You had the head scratcher against App State at the beginning of the year. Now they're 8-1. Flemister brought down to the backfield.
Flemister in the middle area.
Like the neck roll.
You love that neck roll.
Makes him look more diesel than he already is. Always a good thing.
Was yours like that?
No, mine was more like a cowboy collar, like went underneath the pads.
Right.
But either way, great job. You know, his initial gap is inside in that B gap, but sees the running back bounce, uses his lateral quickness to get out there, secure the tackle, and
second down.
We've seen a bunch of these, the depth of positions that both teams' linebackers playing well in this game.
Flemister motions out of the backfield. Slovis, Mumpfield. Can he use some blockers? Uses one or two of them. Can't get the first down, but gets close to where it's third medium here. 3 yards shy. Kevin Jobity and Jihad Carter making the stop.
Injury timeout.
Got a Syracuse player down. See if we can check a number.
Oh, yeah.
It might be Jihad Carter. We'll check in on his condition in a little bit. 17-6. Our score here in the fourth quarter. Pitt on top.
Out of owners, ensure.
For Syracuse, this time it's Sparrow hitting Carter. Look at the helmet. Oh, right in the shoulder. Yeah, that had to hurt. You see him right there, just favoring it. Walked off. Hopefully we'll see him. Flemister on third down. Jones stops him. Only picked up a yard. So the Syracuse defense has bowed up a little bit here in the second half. They've had to because the offense has just been anemic, but at least they're getting the ball back to him.
Yeah, and they've gotten the safeties more involved. Jihad Carter, you saw him on that last tackle. He walked off. He's had a great game, but that last one, Justin Barron down there as well. And
Caleb Junko was on the punt for the Panthers.
Right, they don't need it right now, but Pitt could potentially go for that deep ball shot eventually. But good job on third down, getting off the field.
Caleb Junko with the punt. Nice return just to stay on his feet. All the way outside the 30.
Yeah, we don't know who that return man is because he has a extra alternative jersey on with no name.
Maybe it was Pena who just put on another jersey.
Could be.
Yeah.
Moved like Pena.
That jersey's like a tearaway jersey too.
Let's see if we can take a
look at that. It's
the
half torn
moves
off.
like Pena.
Yeah.
All right. Look at this right here. You see the last week versus Notre Dame. See those numbers this week. First career start. Really, most of those came in the first half. Not much at all in the second half.
Del Rio Wilson trying to get a receiver to get open. Can't find anybody open. Runs out of bounds for a loss. Flag on the far side. May have had a Pitt Panther a little too overzealous before the snap.
Offside. Defense number 50. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Dayon Hayes. Look at Devin Danielson. That dude can run for a big guy.
Yeah.
That guy can too. They love his talent. Young guy. We've been talking about him for a couple of years though.
Yeah.
Kind of waiting for him to explode on the scene, I feel. Servacier's got that shoulder wrapped up.
I know.
He doesn't care. 1st and 5. Trying to get Tucker involved in the passing game. No shot. Shane Simon. First time we've called his name today, I think. Mark, the transfer from Notre Dame, making the tackle.
Yeah, he's been a good addition as well. And, right, there's certain things that you see on film that need to be corrected. Pitt, they needed to correct tackling the running back and those pass-offs from wide receivers. We mentioned all game. There's not been one time where the running back or anyone has leaked out of the backfield that has not been covered tight. Great job by Randy Bates in that defense. And then another sack This time, Deslin Alexander, captain, gets it in the backfield.
Gets that tie fixed. I mean, they just swallowed up Del Rio Wilson.
And he's working on a tight end, and got a little bit of help from the tackle, but you got to block him with offensive linemen. And we got 3rd and long in crunch time now.
It was 1st and 5.
Yeah.
Now it's 3rd and 16.
And I guarantee Pittsburgh pressure.
They're coming with 5, 6. Trying to get to Alford. No shot. Devonshire on coverage. Had a little bit of Eric Howland for good measure. And it's 4th and long.
Well, I've been impressed with the way these Pitt Panther cornerbacks have played physical on the releases against Syracuse's wide receivers. They've been right up in their grill at the snap of the football, and the routes just have not been able to develop because of that early contact. Great job by MJ Devonshire getting all up in Damian Alford's grill at the line of scrimmage.
High kick. Devonshire will call fair catch and back away. It takes a horizontal bounce out of bounds at the 40. Pitt will take over from there. 8:48 left to go in this one. Panthers up 17-6, and the ball when we come back.
Football.
Back here at Acrisure Stadium, well, it's been a big change coming to the East Coast from being from Arizona for quarterback Kedon Slovis. He told us that he never even owned a winter coat until he moved here to Pittsburgh, and some of the players here are trying to get him to understand the East Coast swag. Chris, Mark?
Rodney Hammond.
Yeah, think about it. It does get cold in Arizona sometimes when you're in the desert.
Yeah, but
not like
40s.
cold.
It gets like 40 in the morning for like a little bit.
Yeah.
By the way, Marlo Wax, another TFL there.
Our producer is telling me, Graham's telling me, it's colder in Scottsdale right now than it is here in Pittsburgh today.
Anomaly.
It was gorgeous today in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you don't buy jackets for anomalies, though. Right? Like, just wait, Kedon Slovis.
Yeah,
this is a myth.
January is going to be brutal here in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Just the weather, though. Fake to Hammond. Now Slovis is going to throw. Just too far for Jared Wayne, who's been his really Wayne deep downfield and Konate Mumfield underneath. Those have been his 2 targets.
Yeah, they really have been, and they tried to get the ball a little bit to Sean Tucker, with not much success. See the hit here, McDonald right there coming in, and Marlo Wax. I mean, he has had a day, Marlo Wax, 13 tackles, well surpassing his former career high.
Defense with another chance to get off the field here. Third and long. Slovis to throw. Hammond stays in to protect. Now Slovis is chased by guess who? Wax forces the throw.
Slovis fires it out of bounds.
3 straight 3-and-outs now forced by this defense.
Yeah, and those are 3 plays made by Marlo Wax. I mean, certain times, certain players like step up and have just like they feel it. Right now, Marlo Wax, he's feeling it for Syracuse, and he's in this position right now. When you think about being on the Syracuse team, they have so many NFL scouts at every single practice, every single game, because they're looking at Sean Tucker and Matt Berger on the left tackle. Now, they also in turn see Marlo Wax and guys, on the defensive side of the ball, like Mikel Jones playing well too, and the scouts are like, man, I didn't realize how good Marlo Wax is. Well, this game, we know, we've seen it.
Yeah. Nice job on special teams, tracking down Trevor Pena. No gain after the return, or on the return rather. Take another look.
Good coverage.
When you're coming down full speed too, that's not easy, is it? Because you can't change direction.
No, not full speed. And it's all about aiming point and angles, knowing you have the sideline. That the sideline has never missed a tackle in his career, so you force it out that way.
Del Rio Wilson, that's a designed run, but he's got nowhere to go. No chance. Alexander, Cansey, everybody on that front. Baldonado, all involved.
And you see how all those D linemen are laying on the quarterback extra? That's so the stats guy makes sure they sees their number and marks them down for that sack. I know, I've been there before.
Part tackle, half tackle,
Yeah,
whatever
I was
it
there.
is, right?
I was there.
The TFLs. Another one for this Panther defense. 2nd down and 11. Clock now ticking down to 7 minutes left. Syracuse has got to score twice. Going for Alford and overshoots him. And Alford was involved a little bit early on in the game, but since then, that man right there, MJ Devonshire, shut him down.
Yeah, and once again, it's Devonshire on the outside getting physicality early, and then with that, it's also the pressure. I mean, you just have no time to get the ball off. Great inside move on that last play by John Morgan, and all of a sudden it's 3rd down 11.
You see the numbers, 2 for 12. Syracuse has not been good on 3rd down. It's 3rd and long.
Pressured right away.
Escapes though. Del Rio Wilson now can get the 1st down, and he does.
Wow.
Brandon Hill finally knocked him out of bounds, but a great individual effort by Carlos Del Rio Wilson. The Orange are still alive.
Del Rio Wilson scrambles and out of bounds.
Fresh set of downs. Del Rio Wilson again going up top. This time he's got a separate receiver. It's not Alford, it's Adams.
I mean, how about that?
DeMarcus Adams makes just his 4th catch of the year.
Well, I mean, and what a time to make a catch. Mr. Adams, thank you very much. Clean pocket. And
Great throw.
Great throw. Hit a receiver right in stride. That time there was a miss on the outside on the initial jam by A.J. Woods.
45 yards. They've gotten big chunk plays. It's really the only thing they've done well all day. Trying to look at Adams again. That time defended beautifully by Devonshire.
Yeah. MJ Devonshire. He's been a good player for this Pitt team. And pretty clean pocket again, but I mean, that's just playing the football in the air. Absolutely zero contact with that right hand. And you know, really that was behind Brandon Hill, the safety. He was a little too shallow in his drop. A fantastic play by the cornerback.
Del Rio Wilson again to throw. Has a receiver open. That's a wrong to Gadsden, who was wide open inside the 5.
He had him too. Rondé Gadsden, he's been out there running routes, and you know, he's not the fastest off the ball, but he does such a good job of finding areas in the zone. And you know, I think that you know, he has the speed of a tight end, but you know, the receiving capability of a wideout just missed by the quarterback.
3rd and 10.
This is where Pitt tees off.
Pressure on the edge. They get him. Servassier Dennis. With a little bit of John Morgan for good measure.
And they're feasting. The late pressure on the twist game is just, it's too good. And what's happening is they're having to keep an extra receiving threat into block because they're getting so much pressure out of their front 4, and when they do that, it allows a linebacker to be freed up to rush the passer, and Dennis has been there all day.
6 sacks on the day for Pitt. 49-yard kick again into the wind. This time Schmidt drives it, and he drives it right through. Hit the ball a little bit lower this time to get through the wind, and he made it with no problem.
Yeah, he banged it. And
yeah, it's back to a 1-score game.
Yeah, and you know, again, regardless of all those negative plays that Syracuse had, right? They had the big play shots, and I mean, that got them in scoring range, and they did what they needed to do. They got points on the board, and now it's a one-score game.
And their defense has forced 3 3-and-outs in a row.
Exactly.
They've stepped up here in the second half to just give their team a chance. And Syracuse, with 4:52 remaining, they've got a shot in this game.
Yep.
They have a total of 146 yards of offense.
Yeah.
26 of them on the ground, and yet they still have a chance in this game. They got to get off the field here, though, on defense if they want to have any chance, because if there's one thing that Narduzzi's been able to do today, when they get going on the ground, they churn clock.
Yeah. Yep.
And they pick up first downs and they move the sticks.
No, you're absolutely right. And we've seen Syracuse defensively sell out against the run. They're bringing a lot of edge pressure flat down the line of scrimmage to tackle the running backs. And so if I'm Frank Signetti and I'm sitting up there watching what's been going on, I'm running some bootlegs when I get the ball back. Now they're lined up to protect against an onside kick.
Yeah, Vincent Davis is the only deep man. He's standing at his own 18. Denneberg is the kicker. We'll see if he decides to kick off or onside, and he's going to little pooch kick. And actually, it was fortunate for Vincent Davis. That ball bound into the end zone. He gets the touchback. No harm, no foul. ACC Fall Championships continue this weekend. Tomorrow, men's soccer quarterfinals. They start at 2 o'clock Eastern time. All matches right here on the ACC network and the ESPN app. It's the home of ACC Championships. ACC network. Look at that. Sunday, 2, 4, 6, 8.
On the evens.
All day.
It's like when you get, the radio station when they're doing the weather. Weather on the 2s. Games on the evens.
Appointment, listening, or viewing in this case. Hammond. Give him 5.
Hammond.
Don't call him to stop. Pitt will take 5 yards a pop right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Hammond getting close to a career high. He's right on it. I think he's at 99 yards. Career high 100 yards against New Hampshire. Also career high at 20 carries. He's gone past that. He's at 22 on the day, Mark. What a day for him. Izzy Abanikanda warmed up today in pads, in uniform. It was a game time decision, had an upper body injury last week, so he couldn't go. Hammond is like, this is what I do. Had a great game in the opener against West Virginia, got injured, and now here he is, powering his way to the first down to move the chains. It's the first down of the 4th quarter. It's a big one.
And it's been direct runs. There's so many people up there, but they're just getting moved back little by little. Great job by Rodney Hammond. Those are not clear running lanes. He's just keeping his legs moving and pushing the pile. And honestly, a first down quickly is better for Syracuse than longer 3-play first down. Now you really got to bow up.
There you see Hammond's numbers, new career highs in carries and yards. We get it again. That's just that offensive line moving the pile 6 yards downfield.
Wow. It's not a fun job, but defensively, if you're ever in a pile like that and it's getting pushed back, fall down. You got to take out the legs. It's when you try to stay up, you're going to get walked back. You just got to get legs out of there. But unbelievable job by the offensive line. Using their strength to their strength and their advantage with the size mismatch.
Syracuse does have 3 timeouts on the board. One more first down here, and I think you got to start burning it. Hammond stretches it outside, now cuts it back in. That's a first down. Still refusing to go down easy. Never went down.
Never went down, and credit to Frank Signetti as well. They've changed up what they're doing in the run game a little bit here. They know, like, everyone in the world knows they're going to run the football, and so rather than bringing all the big people in the game and cramming the middle of the line, they're spreading it out with 3 wide receivers now to just get more of those potential tacklers away from where the ball's being run. And that's different than what we saw. Again, tight ends split out, four wide, and they got probably, and they're going to run them, I'm sure.
They are. Hammond.
Again, it's Hammond.
Picks up about a yard. Syracuse is going to start using those timeouts now. Jihad Carter was slow to get up in the backfield. Remember, he took that helmet to the shoulder a few moments ago and
timeout
back out there.
Syracuse, 30-second timeout. First of this half.
There's Jihad. He has just gotten beat up today, as a lot of these Syracuse Orange defenders have. Take a look at one here at the end of the play. He's like, come on, Branson. Branson Taylor throwing him down. He's like, I got a bump shoulder.
Yep. A hold there probably, but you think. But yeah, I mean, you talk about Marlowe Wax earlier, and just the amount of tackles, him all over the field. Same thing can be said for Jihad Carter. He's had a fantastic game today. 9 tackles, an interception. Had an interception last week and an interception the week before. Just amazing. Against Clemson 2 weeks back. Had a 90-yard fumble recovery as well for a touchdown. He's coming to his own.
See the rushing yards there for Dino Babers. He's got to hope somehow, some way, he can get the ball back to his offense. And a lot of that's going to fall on the shoulders, even one bump shoulder, Jihad Carter. 2nd down and 8. Still more Hammond. This is the play right here. Timeout Syracuse, 3rd down and 4.
30-second timeout. Syracuse, 2nd of the half.
Working that left side of the offensive line. Good double teams. This is a boss play. You haven't heard boss plays a lot. It's the back on the support, and it's where the fullback goes out and kicks out the support. Everyone double teams up front, blocks down, and you get that running lane through the C gap. Great job. And again, we talk about pro style runs. Even anymore in the NFL, you don't get a lot of it, but Cignetti knows it. Used that lead back well, and just been pounding it on the ground this entire game.
Tough day for that man right there, and he doesn't have very many tough days. Sean Tucker does against this Pitt team, though. Last year, just 29 yards rushing. Today, just 19. So this is a big play right here. They stop him shy. Dino was quick to get that 3rd and final timeout.
Timeout. Syracuse, 3rd and final timeout of the half. Clock operator, let's put 1:49 back on the game clock. Thank you.
Take another look. Hammond.
Are you kidding me? I need to see another replay of that from the high end zone with Kayvon Darton. He's on a double team, spins off the double team.
That's your guy.
Around to the opposite B gap and makes a tackle. And I mean, look at that tattoo. A snake through a skull. How much cooler can he get?
No, none.
That's as cool as it gets.
So let me ask you a question. Just toss it around in your head a little bit. If you're Pitt, you've owned the line of scrimmage, you go for it here. They do. They're coming out. They're going to go for it on 4th down.
Yep. And they got the lead back in the game. Heavy set.
Daniel Carter at fullback, moving a couple of tight ends to the bottom of your screen. Bartholomew in motion.
So right now, I'm responsible for
Slovis maybe just trying to get him to jump. Appears that's what he's doing. Play clock winding down, and they'll take the 5-yard penalty.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Trout here at Acrisure really wanted him to go for it.
Yeah, I think it's the right move to do what they did. Right? See if you can get a free one. If you can't get a free one, your defense has been lights out in the 2nd half, and I think that's the right call. Try to pin him deep. Try not to punt the ball into the end zone.
Syracuse coming up. We mentioned they were trying to break a 2-game losing streak coming in. And if they can't do that, it'll be 3. And you look at what they have on the horizon. Florida State, we had them last week. They looked really good against Georgia Tech. At Wake Forest, that's no bargain. And then they finished the year at BC. Pena fakes like he's going to catch it. It's going to be killed inside the 5.
Well,
Sam Vanderhaar with the punt of his life today. Inside the 5, and 99 yards for the Cuse.
Yeah. Also has a great number, 94. Love it. Chip shot. And guess who downs it?
It's unbelievable.
Servassier Dennis, your team captain, playing on punt team in crunch time, understands the rules and kills the ball right at the 1-yard line. Well, how about this? All right, Carlos, 99 yards. That's all you got to do.
From his own end zone, pressured, sacked, safety.
Safety.
Well, that's apropos for this defense and Deslin Alexander.
Deslin Alexander. Mask off, my friend. He
Rolling over the field is a safety.
working against a tight end. No, 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 no. You can't just have him on a tight end blocking one of the best pass rushers. And, you know, it was interesting. Before this game, we asked the coach, say, you know, hey, who could we maybe see a little more from? Because I think Deslin Alexander is a guy who could probably give a little bit more. Well, guess what? I don't know whether he felt that, he heard. I mean, he has been phenomenal. And as a captain, when you step up your level of play, everybody around you does as well. And you've seen the two captains on the defensive side, Servassier Dennis, Deslin Alexander, have phenomenal games, and their Pitt Panthers have responded.
6 sacks on the day for Pitt. Came in with 23. Very respectable number. Bump those numbers up.
Yep, 2.5 sacks by Deslin Alexander on the day. Servassier Dennis had one. Elijah Cansey had one. Hava Baldonado got involved with a half a sack.
Solomon DeShields.
Yep.
The Panther Pit, they have been partying on that side of the football all game long. It has been a fun day, something I'm sure you know a lot about. When you and your teammates are having that kind of a dominant performance, it's a whole lot of fun. Look how much, look at this.
Yeah.
And this is a team, they're the defending ACC champs. They're 4-4 coming into this game.
Right.
Like, you know that they felt like that's not where we belong. That's not where things should be for us midway point of the season. Now they're a game away from becoming bowl eligible.
Timeout.
Timeout.
Pittsburgh, first of the half.
As Syracuse will have the free kick. Let's take a look, see what Pittsburgh has coming up. They'll be in Virginia next week. I'll be at that game. Charles Arbuckle will be with us. Then Duke and at Miami. I don't see any reason why they can't win all 3 of those games.
Yep.
Although what we've seen from Duke, pretty darn good.
Yeah,
a renaissance year for them in Durham.
Yeah, but the way this D-line and linebacking core is playing, you know, limiting the rushing ability by Riley Leonard is going to be huge for them. And you know, they've shown that they can do that. And you know, it looks like, you know, right on the wall here, it says that Pitt is going to win this game, meaning Syracuse is going to lose. So for all you Clemson fans out there, that means Clemson will clinch the Atlantic after this game.
Punch their ticket to Charlotte. Obviously here Andre Schmidt is going to be kicking off, and he's the better onside kicker on this Syracuse team. So get the hands team in there.
Timeout, Pittsburgh, seconds of this half, 30-second timeout.
Let's count the sacks. There's 6 of them for Pitt. And it has been a glorious day for their front seven.
Well, here you go. This is what started off. There it is. The captain making a play, and then it just becomes team effort, right? There, you get Alexander again involved in the play. Then it's the late pressure by Servassier Dennis. You get Baldonado in there as well. Right here, this is the last one we just saw.
Number
Alexander
20 is wearing number
scoring.
96. Number 20 for Syracuse is now number 96.
Anytime you get defensive scores, it's big, and that man right there had a phenomenal game. You see them, because it was a safety, this kick try is from the 20-yard line.
Got that bounce. Devonshire, though, on the receiving end. He's also had an amazing game.
Yeah, and it's not going to show up in like sacks or PBUs or anything, but Devonshire, he has been a shutdown corner this game. Pretty good kick, actually.
Right.
Kick out of bounds by the kicking team. 5-yard penalty from the out-of-bounds spot. First down.
Okay, Devonshire's like, that kick went out of bounds, man. I recovered that thing.
Yeah, but I think one of his feet was out of bounds when he had possession, so.
He ain't giving the ball up.
Let me get that.
It's got its orange S on it. He's going to have to give it up. Syracuse ball.
Yeah, not if he hides it right now.
You got their own kicking game.
You got to hide it somewhere.
After discussion, there is no foul for kick out of bounds. It was touched by the receiving
Chris,
team.
you were right.
The ball will be placed where it went out of bounds. First down.
Good call, Riley Johnson. The crew got together. I think they made the right call.
Yep.
Devonshire.
Since the ball was touched in bounds, please set the game clock to 1:34. Let's put 1:34 on the game clock. Thank you.
That's academic at this point. Pitt's up 10 with the ball. Syracuse out of timeouts. It'll be V formation, and the clock will wind down. Mentioned both these teams had 2-game losing streaks coming in, so Pitt breaks theirs. Turning point for them. I know it's not, it's not a huge win against a, but it's a ranked team. I mean, Syracuse is ranked 20th in the country.
If this was 2 weeks ago, it would be a huge win. I mean, Syracuse, you talk about halfway point of the seasons. At halfway point, they're 6-0, right? And they're about to go play Clemson, and they have a 1-score game against Clemson, where they're driving at the end of the game to possibly win it, right? So, like, it has been, a steep decline in production and play from Syracuse the last 3 weeks.
And Garrett Schrader in street clothes today. They need him back.
Yep.
Nothing against Carlos Del Rio Wilson, but Schrader is the engine that makes that offense go with his arm and his legs. And the veteran presence just has meant a lot to them over these last couple of years, and Dino, I'm sure, knows it. Don't want any pushing and shoving to mar the midfield.
Yeah. And
Orange haven't won on this field since 20 years.
I know. And there's some good performances too, individual performances. Marlo Wax, great game. Jihad Carter, great game. Kayvon Darton, great game. But that defensive and offensive front for Pitt was just too much for Syracuse.
Mauritius looking for Coach Narduzzi.